What's going on Facebook, Instagram? What's happening with both of y'all? It is good to be on live today, man. Haven't gone live in a little grip, but it is really nice to go live today to talk to y'all because, man, I got a lot on my head. So everybody's been kind of watching this Hemp Chronicles journey. Y'all seen me go from growing plants to putting the plants in the ground to build this company, Sunjoin, together with Better. Y'all see me working on a lot of different things in the hemp industry right now. But one of the things that I want to talk about now is the current state of what I've seen in the market as of late, the horror stories and some hoorays. I mean, we just came off of Halloween, and so I got some good horror stories for you. Make sure y'all share this everywhere. If you ain't heard about the distributors, basically I am building a company called Sunjoin, and we are building it actually together with a group of farmers, with a network of distributors, and with processors all across the nation and even the globe, working together to build a network to service the vertical in the hemp industry, from seed all the way to the shelf. So we have been having a wonderful time doing that. Y'all have watched me grow. Y'all have watched me build. Y'all have seen me this whole entire season. And now I'm talking about some stuff that, might not be so fun to talk about. In the hemp industry right now, I know you guys have seen and probably have heard some of the horror stories that are happening. So what has happened is a lot of these farmers went into this grow season early on with contracts. And so with those contracts, basically it's a futures contract that says, at this point in the future, I will buy this much hemp from you at this price. So a lot of people have these contracts. That happens a lot of times in commodities. Some of y'all who are in the Coinda group, shout out to Coinda. Y'all seen Ernest Gaines and Miss Latoya, they trade futures, options, those kind of things. They trade those derivatives. But in that group, when you start thinking about those types of instruments, if you really break it down, a futures contract basically just says, I have the right to buy this at a certain point in the future, or on the other side, I have a right to sell this at a certain point in the future at this price. We have agreed to that. The problem is that some of these buyers or processors are reneging. They are reneging on their contracts. So they are not honoring the contracts that they put in place with the farmers. So these farmers went out and grew an amazing amount of hemp and then had nowhere to sell it. And so some of the farmers are getting extremely upset. Of course, when you be upset, if you thought you were growing something and were going to get some money back and you didn't. And some of them are suing some of these processors, some of these buyers. But it's crazy out here, man. The thing is that those horror stories are going to happen in a new industry. That's just how it is, man. That's just the way it works, right? Like, you're going to have some situations where things aren't working out the same. And I think a lot of it comes from the fact that in the hemp industry, just like most farming industries, an old farmer told me this when I first began wanting to grow hemp. He said, there's one thing that is for certain. Farmers overproduce. That's what he said. He said, there's one thing that is for sure. Farmers overproduce. And hemp is no exception. Farmers go out, and farmers are the quintessential gambler at the end of the day, because you have no control over a lot of the elements unless you're in a greenhouse. And even then, you still don't have complete control over a lot of the elements. So you are at the mercy of the elements. You're at the mercy of weather. You're at the mercy of sunshine. You're at the mercy of pests. You're at the mercy of regulation. You're at the mercy of a lot of different things as a farmer. So being a farmer is it's difficult. It's a difficult thing. And that's the reason why at Sunjoin, we want to try to alleviate some of that difficulty and help these farmers out and figure out ways to increase their demand before they even put the plant in the ground. But the whole idea is that when farmers see something new that they know they can make some money on, they tend to take a field and jump into it. They're like, we'll use this field. We won't use it for soybeans this year. We'll use it for alpacas. I will use this field for hemp. And this year there was no exception. Like, a lot of farmers went out and grew a lot of hemp. But the sad thing is a lot of farmers went out and grew a lot of hemp because a lot of processors gave them contracts. They gave them contracts to grow the hemp, so the farmers are expecting at the end of them putting all of this hard work. Let me explain something to you. If you get a contract at the beginning of the season and then you go ahead and go through the entire process, and at the end of all the hard work you do, you don't get your money, oh, buddy, you're going to be upset. You're going to be mad. It's hard work, man. I'm telling you right now, that's how I already understand. This market is like that right now because there is an incredible amount of supply on the market. It's crazy how much hemp is on the market, man. There's a lot of hemp on the market. There's a lot of biomass on the market. And the problem is that not that many processes, and those processes that are out there are at a standstill and have a bottleneck. And some of the processes, shout out to Gene Cannon, man, that thing caught on fire. That's messed up. Pray for them cats, man. Their whole lab caught on fire. So I mean, at the end of the day, these are stories that happen in new industries. But let me explain something to you. That should not stop you from getting in the industry. Do not be afraid of the things that happen in the industry to the point where it stops you from even taking part in the industry. You have to move past the fear. Like, real talk. You just do. You have to trust the fact that in the future, the industry will be bigger than what it is now. And you have to trust your gut on what you've studied and read and understand, right? Like, I've been doing a lot of studying and researching around the benefits of not only CBD, but definitely around hemp, using hemp for other alternative building materials, for plastics, for clothes. Shout out to Miss Serrata. And y'all, let me explain something to y'all. Can y'all believe I'm going to be judging a fashion show? I'm so fly. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to be judging a fashion show. But like, the thing is that you can use hemp for so many different things that I believe in the future that what we believe in our heart, what we see is going to happen. Now, is it going to be roses for everyone? You still have to have a business plan. You still have to market. You still have to sell. You still got to do a whole lot of other stuff. You still got to go find contracts. So there are some processors, shout out to the ones that held it down. There are some processors that have basically upheld their end of the bargain, but others haven't. It's just a new industry. There's so much hemp on the market. You got to have good hemp. You got to have good cultivars. Now you got the USDA comes in and they give you new regulations for this new growing season. Matter of fact, they happen immediately. So whatever's in the ground, they got to be very careful, because when they get tested, now you got to get tested at a DEA established or a DEA recognized registered lab. And if it's over 0.3, if it's over 0.5, you can they gonna look at it and you might even get in criminal trouble, man. It's crazy out here. It is. It's crazy. Luckily, we had all our stuff out of the ground and we grew a cultivar that the state of North Carolina recognized as being okay. But I'm saying, man, it's a crazy, crazy, crazy thing out here in these streets. So those are the horror stories. I don't want to get you down with the horror stories. I want to get you up with the hoorays, right? Because here are the hoorays, hip hop hoorays, right? The hip hoorays. Number one, more states are coming online from a perspective of cannabis in general. So you're talking about more states coming on recreationally from a marijuana perspective. So the whole United States is moving forward with this plant, right? And y'all have heard me say it 100 times, man. I have never smoked weed in my life, but I am still a huge believer in the plant, right? I've seen what it does. Matter of fact, just because it helps me, I'm just going to be real about it. I don't smoke weed at all, but I do take CBD, and it helps me with my arthritis. It makes me feel good. Makes me feel better. Makes my legs feel better. Makes me feel young and spry out here in these streets. So I am a believer in the plant. And plus, I just have a hard time with anybody trying to regulate something that was here way before we were. Before we were in this country, hemp's growing. Before we was in Afghanistan, hemp's growing. I'm just saying plants have been growing. I think hemp started in Afghanistan. So I don't know how they got here, but all I'm saying is these plants have been growing for a very long time, and you regulating a plant, crazy to me. It's like it's a seed, you put it in the ground, it grows, you can choose what you want to do with it. Instagram, look, I did a great job. I got 11 on Instagram for the first time ever, baby. Yeah. If you want to go follow me on Instagram, go to instagram.com/BigMar. But yeah, man, live love, love life. And I see y'all on the flip side. Later.